Hey guys and gals, welcome back to another Vinny Vid Productions video. Unfortunately, because of the situation that I have been in for the past week and a half, and that is due to the COVID or showstopper or whatever the hell you want to call it, it's not a disease that you can mess around with. I'll tell you that right now. You're going to feel like garbage even though you're cured, or you're not ever going to be cured. You're always going to show positive. For COVID, it'll take forever and ever and ever to get back to the way you're supposed to feel. Anyhow, because I did not do 2 live streams, and I did not have time or be around to do a video, I am going to post a video that is a full build on my FERTIZONA plant. This video is going to be almost an hour long, and I hope you guys and gals enjoy it. And please, I'm asking you guys, please, if you can, donate some money, because the VA doesn't pay for everything. I used up a tank of gas just to get down to the hospital and back, and then I had to go again yesterday, which was Friday, because I was getting some flashback bronchitis going on and stuff like that. Anyhow, I hope you guys and gals enjoy this video. We'll talk to you later. Bye for now. Here in my workshop now, and as you can see, I've got everything laid out on this one sheet of plastic. This is an evergreen product. It's a 12-inch by 24-inch sheet, and I believe when I originally bought this, it was about $14. You're not going to get a prototype building for $14, so you actually have to make it. Anyhow, as you can see, I've got the tower all ready to go. Track side wall, truck side wall, front wall, and rear wall. I always try to use the factory edge so I can get it as pretty square as I can. What I'm going to be using for this is Model Masters glue, and then I'm going to be using the 294 angle for the corners, and then I'm going to be using the 175s for the corner support, inside corner supports. Tools I'll be using, a couple of metal straight edges, always a square, pencil, scale rule, and an eraser. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and start cutting this stuff out, and I will do a mock-up and put it on the layout and show you guys how it's going to look. I want you to keep in mind, this is the third time I'm doing this building. The first one was the original one for my layout, but I had an offer from one of my buddies, one of my subscribers, Paul, who made me an offer I couldn't refuse. He wanted the building, and he traded me some rolling stock and a locomotive for the building. Anyhow, the second one is an HO scale of the same model that's on my buddy David Durbin's layout. Anyhow, with all that being said, let's go ahead and start cutting this out. I'll be right back. Guys, there you go. There's all my parts cut out. I didn't want to do all the cutting on video. It would have been too long because I don't have a sharp blade to start with. And as you saw in the clip, when I was trying to break it apart, it was giving me a little rough time. So I went ahead and cut them off camera. Anyhow, everything is all cut out right now. And what we're going to do is I'm going to do a mock-up with some tape and so on and so forth, and then we'll go ahead and put this on the layout, and I'll show you what it looks like on the layout. So stay tuned and we will be right back. Alright guys, here's a mock-up of what it looks like, and over here we're going to have a very large opening, and there'll be a canopy right here for a truck loading and unloading. There'll be a people door back there, and on this side here we're going to have a garage door, even though I got it covered up with tape right now. And then this is going to be how it's going to look. Now, you guys may be asking why I have two of these towers up here. I was thinking that maybe I should make a full wall there, even though the prototype is only a tower, and that tower actually belongs on that side. So this is how it's going to look on the layout, and I just want you to know that because of the space available, my original one was 15 inches long. This one's only 12 inches long, but it fits where I need to put it. There'll also be a little office building in this area right here. So anyhow, I'll go ahead and work on this a bit more, and I will decide whether I want to put a full wall where the tower is, or just leave it the way it's supposed to be as prototype. Anyhow, stay tuned and we'll be back with more on this build. Alright guys, now that I was happy with the mock-up on this building, I went ahead and started cutting out some of the openings. As you can see on the tower, there's 3 windows, one on each side there, and on here there's also another one. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut these guys out, the doors. And this door here, I mean, they're all guesstimated sizes. I know that when I was there for my tour, that they actually have a bobcat that goes in and out of here that scoops up the material, because there's a couple of bins inside of here. Anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and start cutting this out, and after it's all cut out, we'll start assembling the structure and we'll see how it turns out. Anyhow, stay tuned and we'll be right back. Alright guys, now that all the holes are cut out, I'm happy with the way they look. Everything is measured up and seem to fit pretty well. As you can see, I've got a lot of the supports already cut out. Now, there's two ways you can do this. You can take your front wall and put it on the outside of the side wall, or you can do it with the front wall on the inside of the main wall. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put mine on the inside, and the reason for that is I cut all these walls same width, so they all will fit inside the building. It also keeps the building a little bit more firm, because I noticed that this was also kind of warping. So with all that being said, my supports will go on the inside up against the edge, like that, and then when this dries up, we can attach it to the respective walls. Anyhow, let's get going on this, and we'll see how it works out. So stay tuned. Alright guys, now that I have all my supports on here for the roof, and this down here will be when I put the foundation. I have a area to glue it down to the foundation. Now that all that's done, everything has been sanded and whatever, we're going to go ahead and start attaching this to the building. And like I said, the reason why I put the supports on the inside is because I'm going to put them on the inside of the sidewall. And I'm not too worried about the way the corners look, because I'm going to use the angle to cover the corners up, so it'll give a nice clean finish. Anyhow, sorry I was off camera there a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and start putting this together, and we'll see how this goes. So stay tuned, and we shall be right back. Alright guys, here's the semi-completed structure for FERTIZONA. As you can see, I've got all the holes cut out. I've got the tower in. My little, I'm going to call this a firewall. I don't know exactly what it is, but it is there. And I will try and find a picture of the prototype and post it with this video. Anyhow, what I need to do now is get some material for the roof and some material for the base. And we'll be pretty much done. I got the decals for it, so basically this building is complete. I'm going to go put it on the layout and I'll show you how it looks on the layout. Stay tuned and we will be right back. Alright guys, this is what you're looking at. First of all, I found enough material to go ahead and do the roof, but I know that there's going to be some rivet counters out there, and I want to point out all my mistakes so you guys know that I do make mistakes. And for me, it's acceptable, but if I was doing this for someone else, it would not leave my house until it was perfect. Anyhow, first major mistake is this guy right here. Let me see if I can get this a little closer. The angle actually should have been the other way. And also, it didn't come out square. The second mistake, major mistake that I made, I don't know if you guys will be able to see this, but this piece right here was not cut out correctly, and you can see there's a gap up in here. So that's another thing. Like I said, this is totally acceptable for me, but if I was doing somebody, it would not leave my house. Next thing is, I did put the truck loading and unloading shed here. When I get the foundation, there'll actually be a little bit of grading here, so when the trucks come in, they could dump it. When I had my tour at this place, there's actually an auger that goes from here into the building and then up to an elevator, which is my next thing that I forgot to do. Again, another mistake, I forgot to cut the hole out in the roof because the elevator is actually inside the building and comes up through here. Alright, so now I also added my foundation down here, and let's see what else. And on this side, I will be adding some guide wire or some kind of a wire that's here, and I'll be using, I don't know if you guys can be able to see this, but it's a piano wire, and basically what it'll do, it will go from the tower down to the main roof, just like that. It's on the prototype, and so I'm going to install it on here also. Like I said, again, if this building was for somebody, it would not leave my house until it's perfect. Let's see, that, and I also added all the corner trim here. I painted it with a gloss white right now. That's all I had available. So as soon as the paint dries, I will hit it with dull coat. Anyhow, now I will get this out to the layout and show you what it's going to look like on the layout. So stay tuned and we'll be right back. Alright guys, now you're looking at the structure on the layout, and as you can see, my truck loading and unloading facility is right there. I still need to do a people door right there. And another thing I forgot to mention in my mistakes is when I did this roof right here, I didn't cut enough to leave some overhang on it. I guess I got overconfident saying, well, I built 2 of these before, it'd be no problem to build another one. Anyhow, when you guys do a scratch build, make sure all your cuts and sizes are exact. This Vinny Vid production brought to you by Yankee Dabbler. For all your model railroad needs, check out Yankee Dabbler. Don't forget, 7% discount with BNSF 6951. And by Highways and Byways, awesome street graphics for your roads and streets on your model railroad layout. If you guys are looking for sophisticated model railroad electronics, Logic Rail Technologies has what you need. For a 5% discount on certain items, use code BNSF 6951. Alright guys, now it's time for the next step on your layout. Trees! I have been dealing with Bob for 7 years now, and he does excellent work on his trees. So if you need some trees on your layout, check out Long Shadow's Trees. Tell him the cuz sent you. Alright guys, we're back out here in the workshop and we're continuing to build on FERTIZONA. And as you can remember, in the previous video I told you that I was going to cut out a section right here for the grading for the trucks to dump their material into here. Anyhow, what I did was I cut the T out of this plastic, and then what I used for the actual grading, you guys are going to laugh, but it's actually an N-scale ladder. Anyhow, take a look at that. Let me know what you think. Anyhow, as you can see, if I put a truck over it, it lines up perfectly. If I can get you in here. Truck lines up perfectly right over the grading, and he'll be able to dump his stuff out. And then, like I said, there'll be an auger in here and an auger in here that'll feed the elevator to put the material in the respective bins. Anyhow, we'll continue on with this. I also have painted this a flat black to make it look like a blacktop, and so we will go ahead and continue on this build, and we'll see how it goes from here. Anyhow, stay tuned and we'll be back with some more. Be right back. Alright guys, the next step I did on this building was I installed the decals here and up here, and just normal decal stuff, micro set and micro saw. Anyhow, I also went ahead and cut the hole out for the very gently cut the hole out for the elevator that needs to go in there. Anyhow, we'll get back to a little bit more on this as soon as I can do a little bit more. So hang out and we will be right back. Alright guys, here's a bit more on the FERTIZONA build. As you can see, I got the canopy up here and I got the supporting posts. Oops. And let me see if I can get in there. As you can see, I got the grade work in there and the truck that will pull right over that and dump his material into the building. Then it will get transported, like I said, through a couple of augers that go in here, and then right here will be the elevator. And from the elevator, there'll be a pipe that comes out down here so it can fill the trucks when they need to be filled. And also there'll be 1, 2, 3 going back here. And if you guys remember, I said that inside the building there was a couple of storage bins that the Bobcat can go in there and grab. So I made the storage bins, and they will go inside the building on this side here, and that should look pretty good. I mean, even though you're not going to see it, it's going to be there in case I want to do some close-up interior shots. You'll be able to see that in there. I just need to figure out what I can put in these guys to make it look like some of the material that they might be using. I don't know. I'll have to do some research on that. Anyhow, let's flip the building around a little bit. As you can see right here, I installed the people door, and on the back side I installed the garage door, and then on this side, as you can see, I've got the decals on there, and also I have my guide wires. I think they're supports for the tower in case it gets really windy out. It'll support the tower from swaying back and forth. Anyhow, right here there's going to be a sliding door, not non-operational. It'll just be over here hanging out, and that'll complete this side. Again, like I said, I did the foundation in just a flat black. Anyhow, the next part of this is, if you guys remember in the video, that this tank was black at one time. It's not the proper tank, but it'll work for now. And again, I've got the FERTIZONA logo on there. And so, This is the building as far as I can go at this point until I get the elevator. Once I get the elevator, everything will get dull coated and painted to appropriate colors and so on and so forth. Anyhow, the next part of this video is going to be construction of the office building. So stay tuned and we shall be back very shortly. Alright, I just wanted to see if these bins would fit in there, and they do. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it. I did paint it a lighter color so you would be able to see it in case I want to do a picture of this, of the inside. The only thing that this kit will be missing would be a bobcat. I don't find any in N scale yet, but maybe somebody will come out with it. And also, another thing I'd like to mention is this entire build is costing me $0. This is all stuff that I had left over from previous builds, so I'm just, using up scraps of whatever and putting the building together. Anyhow, stay tuned and we'll get on to the office build next. Alright guys, this is what you're looking at now. This is going to be the beginning of the office for FERTIZONA. I'm going to start off with the foundation first. As you can see, it's 67 feet by 33 feet, and the space in front will be enough for a parking lot. I am going to be cheating on this one, only because I don't have the right stuff, but I do have this. A while ago, I got this decal from one of my vendors. I don't remember who it was, but anyhow, this is going to be the front wall, and that's going to go on there like that. And the good thing about this is these little blue spots down here, these little blue spots right down here, well actually they are transparent, so whatever color the building is, you'll see it through those little openings right there. Oops. As you can see, I also have all my supports ready to go. I have all my openings that have to be used, getting ready to be cut out. This is going to be kind of like an office space, and then kind of like a storage space here for like hoses, valves, or whatever they might need if they need to make a repair. And because of that, the back wall will have a people door for the office, which will be like a fire door, and then we'll have a small 12-foot by 10-foot garage door opening. And then on one wall here, which would be the side of the office, there'll be another people door here. Anyhow, I'm not going to bore you with cutting all this stuff out. I'm just going to go ahead and cut it out, and I'll bring you back when I have everything cut out and ready to be mounted. Also, I forgot to mention, this building prototype is stucco finish, so what I'm going to be using is this Rust-Oleum. It says fine textured finish, and that'll give me just the right amount of stucco for N scale, I guess, if you want to say it that way. Anyhow, let me go ahead and cut this stuff out, and we'll be back shortly. Alright guys, like I said, if I don't write stuff down, I'll forget to talk about it. Anyhow, what I'm going to use for the windows that I am going to cut out will be a Tiki group, or Chichi group, however you want to say it, 40 pane windows. I don't know if it's prototypical to have a 40 pane window there, but that's what I'm going to use because that's what I have. Also, I didn't mention that the entire foundation of this building will be painted flat black. And here's a little tip for you guys. If you have a small structure, like this one here is going to be small, what I use for the walls is 20 thousandths styrene. It makes it a lot easier to cut the windows and doors out. Anyhow, that's my little tip for today. So, anyhow, let me get this stuff cut out, and we'll be back shortly. Alright guys, as you can see, I've got all the openings cut out for all the walls here. One thing I need to remind you guys of, and I know I've said this in many of my other videos, that when you cut window openings or door openings, I always make them a bit smaller and make them bigger as I need. If you make them bigger, unfortunately you can't make it smaller. The second thing I want to say, after you make all your cuts on your walls and stuff, there's always going to be a little ridge left on here. So you need to get it sanded down so you have good fit with all your parts. I painted the doors and windows this oxide red. I don't know if you guys can be able to see it. The light in here is kind of funky. And this building is going to have a flat roof. And the reason why it's going to have a flat roof, because I have some details I want to put up there. And all of these are from Make It Easy N Scale. Got an AC unit that I'm going to put up there, and a couple of roof vents, and I'll probably make a stack somehow with one of my rods that I got. I'll probably make a little smokestack up there or whatever. And then finally, the detail for the parking lot is going to have these BLMA car stops. So my next step is I'm going to go ahead and assemble this building, and we'll follow it from there. So stay tuned and we'll be right back. Alright guys, this is a pretty basic build I'm doing here. It's just 4 walls basically with a lot of cutouts. In case you're wondering why I have the masking tape there, that's because where I'm going to put my my fake door and window, and I wanted a smooth surface because it is decal, and I see that I am already screwing it up a little bit by putting some scratches in it. But oh well, it'll just look like broken glass or something, I don't know. But anyhow, the next step on this is going to be go ahead and give it a squitz of paint. I will paint the inside. I'm also going to make the roof removable because at one point or another I will be putting lights in here. Maybe one light or whatever, but anyhow, I want to leave the option that I can if I want to. Anyhow, let's get on with the painting. And like I said, I'm going to be using that textured paint to give it a stucco look. And then I will give it another paint, another color, a little darker tan to go over the original tan, because what I painted down here is a darker tan. And also the inside of the building will get the same darker tan. Anyhow, stay tuned and I'll bring you back as soon as we get this painted up. Alright guys, I went ahead and painted it, and I decided I'm going to leave it this color, which is the lighter textured paint. I did have a little problem with the decal fake door and window. I guess nobody wanted me to cheat on this. So I wound up looking through my parts stuff and I came up with this door. The only problem with this door was I wasn't anticipating this, so when I put my styrene strip at the bottom, I did the whole bottom piece here. So I had to cut this hole out while the building was together, and it was a bear. I did have these other windows that was part of the door set that I was going to put in there, but because it was such a pain in the butt to do, these were the windows that went along with it. But it was too much of a bear, and I was afraid that I was going to break the wall, and I really don't have any more plastic to mess around with it. Anyhow, that's the front. And then we have the side here with this window in. And then in the back, we have the garage door, a people door, and another window. And on this side, we have a people door. Alright, and I just thought that I would just go ahead and do a little bit more on this. So I finished off the parking lot. And the parking lot's going to look like this. And as you can see, I've got the markings, and I got the car stops on there. And then these are some of the details I'll be putting on the roof. The office will get a refrigerated air, and then I'll have a roof vent on this side or wherever. And then here in Arizona we have swamp coolers. I don't know if all you guys are familiar with swamp coolers. They run on a principle of pumping water up to the top, having it drip down over the grating with a fan blowing through it, and actually it works pretty good as long as you don't live in a humid environment. If you live in a humid environment, it will not work. Anyhow, here's a little car we'll put in there. And then I'm also going to have this little electrical box up here. If I can get it to stand up. There you go. Anyhow, basically that's going to be it. Maybe I'll put a dumpster or two near there or whatever. But the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go out on the layout, and I'll show you what the both buildings look like. And there is also one more structure I need to build for this complex. It's like a storage shed. It's a lean-to basically, and I'll do that in the next part of this video. So stay tuned, and we'll get this out to the layout, and we'll see how it looks. Be right back. Alright guys, we're at the layout now, and this is what the scene's going to look like. It'll start from this road, and we are looking south from Phoenix. Actually, we're looking at Phoenix. Phoenix would be way to the south that way. Anyhow, I am so stoked about this that you can actually see, you can actually see the bins that I put in there. That's pretty cool. I like that. So that means when I put my elevator in, I'm actually going to have to drill holes in the roof and have the spouts of the pipe go into the building. Anyhow, let's take a walk around. Most of this will be dirt and bushes and stuff like that. And like I said just before, there'll be a little shed that'll go right here. It'll be packing all the bag stuff. And then we have our truck loading and unloading zone there. And I started to put out a couple of details, a couple of oil drums or chemical drums, whatever you want to call it. There'll be some pallets there. Those are still on the sprues. And then this is what the back will look like. The truck waiting to get loaded up. And then we walk around to the office here. And we have the office, and we have a couple of vehicles parked there. This is going to be all of this in here will be dirt, and then the road, this would be Olive Avenue, and there'll be a dirt road that comes into the complex from here. Alright, so now let me walk all the way around the layout, and we'll start on the other side. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back. Alright guys, what you're looking at here is the operations manager that I showed you guys in the last video. His name was Craig Allen. I couldn't remember his name in the last one, but I found his business card, so I thought it'd be cool to show that. Anyhow, again, we'll start from the road here, and if you guys remember that tank right there, it used to be black, now it's white, and it's got the FERTIZONA's logo on it. That'll be a little storage shed for tools and whatever. And we got all my tanks, and actually I could use a few more tanks. And again, even from this side, you can see my storage bins in there. I'm really stoked about that. I didn't think you'd be able to see them. Anyhow, the only thing that's missing now is the elevator. And then we got the office back there again from this side. And so that's looking pretty good in my opinion. It'll look really good when I get all the ground cover on here and whatsoever. But anyhow, in part 3, it should be a pretty short one. All I'm going to do is make that extra storage shed, and then basically all the structures for this complex will be done. In actuality, if I was doing this to scale, it would be all the way down to the wall. That is the back side of the office for FERTIZONA, and as you can see, I added right here the power meter and the conduit that's going to go up to the roof. This will have overhead wiring. The back I made myself, but the meter itself is made by Power Meters Undecorated, and is by Randy Brown. I looked on eBay to find this guy again to see if he had any other details, and I could not find any. Anyhow, that's for that. So now we'll move on to the roof. On the roof, as you can see, I put my air conditioners. I changed this one out. I put a smaller one in here, and then of course the evaporative cooler right here. And then what I did was, this would be the main electrical cable that comes up from the building, and then it goes into this junction box, and it will go over to feed the electricity for the air conditioner, and also feed the electricity for the swamp cooler, or evaporative cooler as they call it. I also added the water supply line for the evaporative cooler, and I added 2 roof vents. All the details up on the top of the roof are by Make It Easy N Scale. So now we'll go ahead and flip this around to the front, and we'll see what I've done on the front of the building. Alright, as you can see on here, I added a couple of peepholes, and back here I added a couple of trash cans, one's for recycling and one's for normal garbage. I also added some AZ vegetation here, and then also I added the fire standpipe, which will feed the sprinkler system inside the building. Anyhow, I just thought I'd give you a little update on the detailing I've done to this building. It should look good on the layout, and then of course once it's on the layout there'll be more vegetation that goes around the building and so on and so forth. Anyhow, let's get on with the build for part 3, the storage shed. So stay tuned and we will be right back. Alright guys, here we are back out at the work table, and this is going to be part 3 of the FERTIZONA build, and this is going to be the storage shed. But before we get started, I want to mention one thing. This tool is probably one of the best tools I've ever purchased. It makes short work of cutting pieces that have to be the same exact size. So if you guys don't have one, it's definitely worth the $30 investment. Anyhow, let's move this out of the way, and we will go on to the next part. I intend to do siding on this building, both the roof and the side walls, inside and out. A while ago, I bought these very, very flimsy metal siding, and it's so thin you can actually see through it. But anyhow, I have enough to do inside, outside, and the roof for this. Next thing is the glue I'm going to use to fasten that to the plastic will be this Loctite spray adhesive, number 200. It should work pretty good. I've used it before and I was very well satisfied with it. Number 4, materials I'm going to be using for the steel structure, I'm going to be using number 274 I-beam, and we'll make a steel frame for this to sit on. Alrighty then, the size of this lean-to is going to be 60 feet long by 15 feet deep. And of course you see here I have roof cut to fit. Okay, and then the back wall will be the same, except it'll only be 10 feet tall, and then we have the 2 side walls, 12 feet in the front, 10 feet in the back. Then for details, I have pretty much a bag full of sacked whatevers. It could be potatoes, it could be whatever, corn, whatever. I don't know if you put corn in sacks, but anyhow, These are going to be my details that I put inside the shed, and they will all get different colors to represent different chemicals. Anyhow, stay tuned and we'll start doing this build, and we'll be right back. Alright guys, as you know, this is actually a build that's going to be on a very strict budget. Again, I'm just using material that I have laying around. This happens to be a bit thicker. This is like 40 thousandths thick, but for me, for right now, it'll work. So the first order of business will be to cut out all my parts. So stay tuned and we'll get going on that. Be right back. Alright guys, as you can see, I've got all my parts cut out now. Basically it's just 3 walls and a base. But I do want to show you one thing. As I mentioned to you in my videos about sanding your edges down, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this, but right along here you see this ridge, and it is a ridge. So basically what I do is I just take my nail file and just give it a little bit of a sanding down. This is just so it looks cleaner and all your parts will fit a lot better, and I do this on all the edges, whether they've been cut or not, and I do it on both sides. And I also do the other cut edge just to make sure you got a nice clean finish. Anyhow, we're going to go ahead and start putting this puppy together, and we'll see how it goes from there. So stay tuned and we'll be right back. Alright guys, this is the stuff I told you I was going to be using. I like it because what I'm going to be able to do is I actually cut the shape out of the profile, and what I'm going to be able to do is to take this guy and put him up against here and then wrap him around this side here. So actually it's going to take 2 pieces to do the outside and 2 pieces to do the inside. Anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and glue this up, and I'll show you the results when I get done with it. So hang out and we'll be right back. Alright guys, as you can see, I've got all the walls inside and outside done with this metal siding that I showed you earlier. What I like about it is that I just cut one piece continuous all the way around, and it's easy to bend and it will kind of hold stuff in place. The next thing we're going to be moving on to will be the foundation. And instead of using the I-beams like I showed you guys I was going to use earlier, I decided to use this 1/16 rod. The I-beams looked way out of scale, and so I decided to use the rod instead, which is prototypical for tubing. Also, I have drilled holes in the base, which will give me a solid front piece, along with when I actually put this guy in place and attach him to the ground. Anyhow, we'll go ahead and continue on. Now, I am going to use an I-beam to go across the top here, and those are being painted right now with the oxide red. These guys will get painted yellow, and the floor I'm going to keep up the same routine as I did with the other 2 floors and use black flat black paint. Anyhow, let's continue on with this and we'll see how it turns out. So stay tuned and we'll be back shortly. Alright guys, here's the painted walls. As you can see, I did it in, I think it's called Winter's Gray. It's glossy, so I'm going to have to be doing a dull coat on that also. The next thing, like I told you in the previous part of this video, is that I was going to paint these guys yellow. But I came to a conclusion that I might be able to kill two birds with one stone. Now normally, along the edge here, I would do a yellow stripe with the pinstriping. But I decided that if I mask all of it off, I can actually kill two birds with one stone. Spray these and along with that there. So now when I'm ready, I will take all of these out and I will cover the yellow and paint the rest of it black. Anyhow, I'm actually waiting for paint to dry right now, so we'll continue this in a little while. I'll be back soon. Alright guys, we're back now. The paint is dry. I did go ahead and dull coat all the walls inside and out, and I also added my my cross beam along the rear side of it, and also I have tick marks of where my supports have got to go. There'll be one in each corner and then 3 in the center. Okay, the next thing is this worked out pretty well for me. Like I told you I was going to do, is I masked off the yellow and painted the black. The only holes will be in the front, which will give me support in the front. The rear will be actually secured to the foundation itself. And then these little guys right here are the supports that will go in the rear. So let's go ahead and start assembling this puppy and let's see how it's going to look. So we'll be back shortly. Alright guys, what you're looking at now is the rear wall is completed. I got the support post in here with my I-beam, and I also added this little bit of a detail here. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see that. Put some cross bracing here, and I used piano wire for that. I don't know if you're actually going to see it, but it's there. If you get down and look at it, it should stand out pretty good. Anyhow, the next thing we're going to do is before we mount the building onto the foundation, I'm going to put in the first and last post here, because they will also secure the front wall of the structure. So anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then we'll mount this, and then we'll put the other post in, and then I have one more beam that'll go across the top. So hang out and we'll be right back. Alright guys, we're going to go ahead and start mounting the front post on this here, and we're going to start with the 2 end ones first. I'm dipping it in some CA cement, and we'll go ahead and stick it in here and make sure it's all the way down, which it is. And now we'll just square it up, make sure it's nice and straight, because this will be one of the supports for the sidewall, so it needs to be straight. And this guy is not too straight right here. Alright, that's the first one. And I'll do the second one, and then I'll do the rest off camera. We'll do the second post here on the other end. Again, we're dipping it into some CA cement. And we'll go ahead and put this guy in. And we'll make sure he's square. I drilled the holes out with my little pin vise. It's a 1/16 drill bit, since the rod is 1/16 drill bit. But it's a tight fit, so I had to kind of wobble it out a little bit to make them fit in there. Alright, so now that the first 2 posts are in there, we'll go ahead and do the other 3, and the procedure will be the same. I'll dip it in the CA cement and mount it in there. Then I will mount the building on there, and the final thing will be the roof. So hang on and we'll be back shortly. Alright guys, this is what you're looking at now. Is the walls are all mounted up. I got all my posts put in there. Like I showed you earlier, I got those cross bracing. I even put it on the side. I don't know if you guys are going to see that. And I know it might not be able to be seen with your naked eye unless you get down and look at it. But for me, it's just an extra little detail that I wanted to put in there. Anyhow, what I have left is put my cross beam here, and then a couple of cross beams here, and I'll put the roof on, and we'll take it out to the layout, and I'll load it up with some detail stuff, and we'll see how it looks on the layout. So stay tuned, and we'll be back shortly. Alright guys, you're looking at the completed storage shed. As you can see, I've got all the supports in there, all my posts are in there, my I-beam is there, and so this is ready to go on the layout. I also got the roof finished, and as you can see, what I did here is I wrapped the siding stuff around here to give the impression that it actually goes underneath. I'm not going to do the bottom because you're not going to see it. Anyhow, let's put that on there like that, and this is how it's going to look when it's on the layout. I'm not going to attach the roof permanently because I'm going to put details inside there, and I do want them to be seen. So some of the details I'm going to do, these pallets. Now believe it or not, these pallets are made by Microengineering, and also again, here's all my sacked chemicals or whatever they are. These are by Make It Easy and Scale details. So anyhow, let me put this together, and we'll go out to the layout, and we'll do one final view, an overall look of the entire complex, and that'll be it until I get some track. So stay tuned, and we'll be back shortly. Alright guys, this is going to be the final overview of the FERTIZONA scene. So we'll back off the camera a little bit here. I'm still missing the elevator, but that'll be coming soon. I staged up a few cars there. As you can see, we'll get at least 2 hoppers and 2 tankers in the facility. As far as details go, back there I added a couple of regular dumpsters and a roll-off dumpster for all the major trash that they may have. And then we'll come around to this side here, and as you can see, there is my shed. And as you can see, I've got it loaded up with bagged chemicals. And then the final thing would be FERTIZONA's tank. Now when I was doing my tour at this place, they told me that that particular tank holds 1 million gallons of chemical. Yeah, 1 million. That's what I said. Anyhow, I hope you guys enjoyed this 3-part series of my FERTIZONA build. As always, your questions, comments, input, and subs are always welcome. For now, that's all folks. BNSF 6951 out.